For this project, you're going to create a new 2D game, and you'll see that the assets folder is automatically created for you. You also have a folder called scenes with a scene called sample scene. What we're going to do is we're going to create an additional folder called animation. We're going to create one called scripts, one called sprites. Now we're also going to have to add in something called a package. So if you go to Window and you go to the Package Manager tab or window, it'll look a little bit like this. We're going to make sure that we have the 2D animation package added. If it's not there, there'll be a button that says import, or let's find one that we don't have. How about this? It'll say install. So you go ahead and click install for the 2D animation. We also want the 2D PSD importer. If it's already there, if it says remove, that means it's already there. We don't have to do anything. Make sure that both of them are there. That'll add a folder called samples and maybe streaming assets. We can just sort of ignore that for now. We're also going to make sure that the resolution of our game window is 3840 by 2160. That's basically 4K resolution. We're going to go to our main camera and make sure that you set the background color to something other than the default. I'm going to choose just white for now. And then also change the size to 100. Now the next thing that we're going to do is create a new C# script called a movement, and you'll find that script on the class website. Go ahead and enter that in. We're then going to go to our sprites folder, and we're going to import a sprite. The one in the project is called Sphere Boy, but notice that it is a .psb. It's a little bit different than a PSD. It's a large format Photoshop file. What that's going to allow us to do is use the 2D skeletal animation technique in order to create the animations for this project. Go ahead, drag the animation up into your hierarchy, and I'd like you to add the following components. We're going to add a rigid body 2D, and we're going to make sure that we set our gravity scale to 40, and we want to change our constraints. We want to freeze the Z-axis rotation. We're also going to add 2 circle colliders. If you look right here, you can see I've got a large one that's like the body, and then a small one right here for the feet. So I'll add 2 of those, and that's so that we don't get stuck on corners. We're also going to add an animator. All right, so we'll just go to Add Component, Animator, and we're going to add the movement script that we created previously. We want to set our speed to 120, and we want to set the Y value to 1000 and keep grounded unchecked. Now, in order to create a ground, we're going to, in our sprites folder, right-click, and we're going to create a, if you look right here, sprites square. And that will add a square that you can then pull into your hierarchy. I've already got one, so mine's called square one. You'll notice it's 1 by 1. We're going to change the name of that to ground, as you see I've done right here. We're going to change the X value on the scale to 400 and the Y value to 10. And make sure that you change the color to something other than white so you can actually see it. I just made mine black for now. And then I'd like you to go ahead and add a box collider 2D to it. It should just be the size of the sprite. We're also going to, I'm going to delete this. We're going to, on the ground, we're going to add a tag. So we're going to go to Add Tag. We're going to call it Grounded. Then click back on Ground and make sure that it is selected. It'll probably be untagged until you select it that second time. At this point, you have pretty much everything set up for our project so that we can start our animation. However, there's one additional thing that we need to do. We need to go to our animation folder, right-click, and we need to create an animator. So we're going to look right here, an animator controller. I called mine Sphere Boy, and you can see it right here. We're going to drag this onto our character in the animator component. So just drag that right into here. Now you'll see that our Sphere Boy character in our hierarchy has the animator controller. We're going to add 2 parameters right here. One is going to be a Boolean called move, with a capital M. And then we're going to create another one called jump with a capital J. All right, now we are ready to start our animation, which we'll do in the next video.